Broadcasting live from the glorious eastern coast of Australia to the darkest corner of your greatest fears. Prepare yourself for terrifying tales of Yowies, UFOs, paranormal anomalies, and much more. Nothing is impossible, and nothing is off limits. Welcome to Believe the Night Shift with your host, Cade Moyer.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. It is a pleasure to be with you wherever you may be joining us from. We are broadcasting live to YouTube, so if you are watching this live, comment and let me know where you're listening from, because I'm always curious to see where our listeners are located and where the show's reaching out to. If you're new here, my name is Cade Moyer, and I am going to be your tour guide on tonight's journey. And if you wish to join me, we have open lines. The number is 0730403096. Call in and share your strange and unexplainable encounters or stories. So if you are watching live, that number will be on your screen the entire time. And if you are watching this live, you'll notice that this is an audio only episode tonight. So I do apologize for that. We've had a bit of a mix-up on our studio hire. So someone else is in my studio and I am reserved to the home one. But that is not going to be an issue because the topic of discussion tonight is something that is absolutely mind-boggling. Just today, the U.S. Senate has come out and basically something's been lodged here, and it's called the UAP Disclosure Act of 2023. That is genuinely mind blowing. UFOs are an incredibly hot topic at the moment. And ever since the David Grush interview got released about a month ago, the US has kind of been swept up in UAP, UFO mania. And I think that is the best thing because we are getting more and more people coming forward, more and more people wanting to share their encounters. And that is obviously removing the stigma that is connected to UFOs, because when the government starts taking it seriously, when papers start taking it seriously, when news outlets start taking it seriously, it starts to become not taboo anymore. So if you have had a UFO encounter, a UAP encounter, whatever you call it, now is the time to come forward and share these encounters, because everything is worth its weight in gold when it comes to firsthand encounters, and that's just my personal opinion on that, because I really feel like firsthand encounters hold such a level of weight to them, especially when they've been retold by the actual experiencee firsthand. So uh, take this as a micro ad for the podcast of, if you have had an encounter, please come forward, get in contact with me, get in contact with any of the other podcasts that you listen to that may be similar to mine, and share your story, because I genuinely believe it's important to get these stories out there and spread them. Just get them out there and share them, and just rest easy knowing that you're not alone and that the world is starting to take this stuff seriously. So, just a really quick message for everyone in the chat. Some people are asking, that maybe they've jumped on a little bit later. It is audio only tonight. Again, my studio has been rented out. So if you are in the Cairns region, you can come in and begin to hire the Believe studio to do your own podcast. So there you go. I'll walk you all through it, but that's enough of that. What I want to do, get into, is essentially some really key points from this report that's kind of come out, and I also want to talk about the press release. So the language that has been used in this is genuinely mind-boggling. So what I'll do is, just to give us a little bit of context, I'm going to read some parts of the press release that's coming out from the Democratic Party, and we can basically go through it. Please note that we really don't care for politics at all on here. So regardless of what your point of view of that is, like, it doesn't really matter, because all that matters is it seems like everyone is coming together to, I guess, get this information out. Like, people in the government, in the US government, really want to show what's going on. So I'm just putting some chats up on the screen. Water and Bridges says the Disclosure Act is huge. It doesn't pull any punches with the language, going straight into non-human intelligences and technologies of unknown origin. Bloody crazy stuff. Absolutely crazy. Nessie has asked me, can we hire the studio just to get selfies where the action happens? Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely do that. That is, if that's what you want to do. Yeah, go for it. All right. Now I'm gonna quickly get into this press release. So you do have to sit through a little bit of me reading, and I kind of do apologize for that. If you are new to the podcast, you're going to be in for a real treat of listening to me read. It's always been a bit of a laughing point of the podcast, but I'm here for it. So here we go. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Mike Rounds, ranking member of the subcommittee and cybersecurity for the Armed Forces Services Committee, are leading an amendment called the UAP Disclosure Act of 2023, along with Senator Marco Rubio, Vice Chairman of the Intelligence Committee, Senator Kristen Gillibrand, Chairman of the Subcommittee on Emerging Threats and Capabilities for the Armed Services Committee, Senator Todd Young, and Senator Martin Heinrich, which would increase transparency around UAP and further open scientific research. The legislation introduced an amendment to the Defense Authorization Act that will be on the Senate floor next week. Would like direct the National Archives and Records Administration to create a collection of records to be known as a UAP Records Collection and direct every government office to identify which records would fall into the collection. The UAP Records Collection would carry the presumption of immediate disclosure, which means a review board would have to provide a reasoning for the documents to stay classified. Holy shit. Mind my language, but that right there, the UAP Records Collection would carry the presumption of immediate disclosure. If that doesn't say everything, I don't know what does. It is genuinely mind-blowing that we have such a committed bunch of people high up in the U.S. Senate wanting to get this out. Holy moly. During his time in Congress, the former Majority Leader Harry Reid sponsored a project to investigate incidents surrounding UAPs. After the project became public, senators, congressmen, committees, and staffs began to pursue this issue and uncover a vast web of individuals and groups with ideas and stories to share. While these stories have varying levels of credibility, the sheer number and variety have led to some in Congress to believe that Sorry, let me restart that again. I lost my marker. While these stories have varying levels of credibility, the sheer number and variety have led some in Congress to believe the executive branch was concealing important information regarding UAPs over a broad period of time. Congress recognizes that these records, if they exist, were likely concealed under the good faith of protecting national security. However, hiding that the information from both Congress and the public at large is simply unacceptable. Our goal is to work cooperatively with the executive branch to responsibly disclose these documents and bring the topic into the public sphere in a process that the American people can trust. And this is going to be one of the biggest red flags when it comes to any of this information coming out is we've already seen that the most recent variation of, I guess, the US UAP task force has already been essentially proven to be falsifying the information that they're releasing, saying that, hey, maybe we haven't got the level of access to these things that we need, when that's essentially come out and been proven incorrect. In the most recent interview that Ross Coulthart did. So it is really, really going to be interesting to see what comes out of here. For decades, many Americans have been fascinated by objects mysterious and unexplained, and it's long past time to get some answers, said Leader Schumer. The American public has a right to learn about technologies of unknown origins, non human intelligence, and unexplainable phenomena. We are not only working to declassify what the government has previously learned about these phenomena, but to create a pipeline for future research to be made public. I am honored to carry the legacy of my mentor and dear friend, Harry Reid, for the fight of transparency that the public has long demanded surround these unexplained phenomena. Again, just coming in hot with the most transparent and aggressive language, technologies of unknown origins, non-human intelligence, and unexplained phenomena. If you have friends who are on the fence about UFOs, this is something that they need to start reading, even if it's just to open their mind just that little bit, because we are potentially going to be getting a level of disclosure later this month. On the 27th of July is when these hearings are going to happen. And if you are not ready to hear the truth, or you think that this is all a real big joke, you are going to have your worldview completely turned upside down. This is something that is going to change the world forever. Our goal is to continue credibility with regard to any investigation or record keeping of materials associated with UAPs, said Senator Rounds. Relevant documents related to this issue could be preserved. Providing a central collection location and reputable review board to maintain the records adds to the credibility of any future investigations. There is a lot we don't know about UAPs, and that's a big problem, said Vice Chairman Rubio. We've taken some important steps over the last few years to increase transparency and reduce stigmas, but more needs to be done. There is yet another step. This is yet another step in that direction, and one I hope that will spur further cooperation from the executive branch. Understanding UAPs is crucial to our national security and maintaining all domain awareness, said Senator Gillibrand. When Senator Rubio and I created the All Domain Resolution Office, we sought to increase transparency to the American people and reduce the stigma around the issue of a high public interest. Declassifying previous records related to UAP is part of that mission, and I'm proud to support this important amendment. The American people deserve transparency on all issues related to UAPs. Our bipartisan effort will protect and better organize government materials related to UAPs and promote disclosure of this information, said Senator Young. The American people deserve transparency, and the federal government needs to be able to explain what is happening in our skies, said Senator Heinrich. This legislation will devote real resources to take a unified approach to gathering data to fully understand UAPs and better address their national security implications. After the UAP records collection is created, the legislation will create a UAP records review board, an independent agency which would consider if a UAP record would qualify for postponement of disclosure. So essentially, that means if this board of people find something that would potentially limit disclosure from happening, they're the people that will say, no, you can't release this information. It is A, B, and C, and that's going to potentially conflict with our national security or anything like that. But that is one of the biggest red flags in this whole thing, is that it's kind of open up to a board of people to say yay or nay. Additionally, the federal government shall have eminent domain, and that means ownership over any and all recovered technologies of unknown origin and biological evidence of non-human intelligences. that may be controlled by private persons or entities in the interests of the public good. So that basically, that one little bit there is saying that the federal government, regardless of whether you're a private contractor, a private business, or within the government, they are going to take whatever UFO, UAP, alien bodies that they may have, and that will then become the ownership of the federal government. That is so major. That is just so. If I was let's just say if I was at Skunkworks and I had a UFO that I was leeching, I don't know, technology from, I would definitely be quite upset about this legislation, because that is, you can't put a price on having a UFO that you're learning from, and it's going to get taken away. After the review board has made a formal determination concerning public disclosure or postponement, the president will have the sole ability to overturn or concur such determination. Again, this here is another red flag with it, is that we could have all our ducks in a row, and then Biden or whoever may be in power at that time can basically just go, no, it's the public is not ready to learn about this. And this is going to be rather interesting, to have all these people do all this work, and then one person who can be potentially influenced by any reason can just pull the pin on it and say, look, guys, thanks for all your hard work, but nothing's going to happen. At the latest, each UAP record must be publicly disclosed in full and made available in the collection no later than 25 years after the law is enacted, unless the president certifies that continued postponement is necessary because of a direct harm to national security. The amendment will be modeled on the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Act of 1992, which requires that documents regarding the Kennedy assassination be made public no later than 25 years after enactment. So let's break this down into some potential layman's terms. All this work could be done. We can find all the evidence of UFOs and aliens and get the bodies, get the pieces of them, get the UFOs out of the hangars and all into the federal government's ownership. And they could say, great, we're gonna show everyone. And then that could happen. That could happen in a year. That could happen very quickly. It sounds like this could be happening by the 27th. There is other legislation out there at the moment that says that if you do have a UFO artifact or anything like that, you have, I believe it was 60 days to make that known to the federal government. And I believe it was 6 months maybe after that it might have been 6 months to potentially look at handing that over. So layman's terms again, let's really simplify this to keep the conversation simple. I'm a simple guy. So the government could release this, let's say hypothetically, next month, or we'll get it in 25 years. So, and that's if nothing changes to the legislation or anything like that. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm actually really, really excited. I think we're going to get disclosure. this year. The fact that this is called the UAP Disclosure Act of 2023, holy, that's amazing. What kind of disclosure are we going to get? Who knows? Maybe it could be something along the lines of, yes, there is non-human intelligence out there, but you're not seeing it, or we can't show you it. Maybe that's what it is. And I don't know. Is that enough for you guys? Is that enough for the world? Is the world ready to hear this? I don't know. I know there's a lot of people out there who still think the UFO thing is all kind of kooky, and it's a little bit silly and a little bit tongue in cheek. And have you been playing too many episodes of the X-Files, mate? The answer is no. UFOs are real, and the only person that's looking silly these days are the people who are not open to accepting it. And I don't know if they're not open. Maybe their worldview can't take it, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I guess everyone who's here and everyone who listens to this kind of podcast, we're down that rabbit hole. We would not be shocked. We would not be surprised to find out that ETs are real, UFOs are real. But to Joe Smith, who has been laughing at it off for years and years and years, it's going to shake their world. And I think that's going to be a really pivotal moment. Oh, well, it's going to be the biggest moment in human history. It's undeniable. And the fact that there's so many hardworking people working behind the scenes, from the most basic ground level to UFO Twitter, to people in the government wanting this out there, it makes me really proud to be a believer. I know that sounds silly, but it's kind of excellent to hear that we're going to get some kind of disclosure. So look, guys, I do want to let you know, if you want to kind of call in and share your thoughts on this, the line is open. The number is on the screen. However, if you're kind of looking away from the screen at the moment, the number is 0730403096. You can call in and let me know your thoughts on the UAP Disclosure Act of 2023, because this is going to change the world. So just while that's kind of going here, I'm just going to see what people are saying. H Girl says The Matrix was a documentary. I mean, probably not, but it was a cool movie. Let's have a look here. Jeffrey says, Cade, you won't even get ET intelligence. You will never get it, brother. I don't know. I don't know if ET intelligence is what people are focusing on. Non-human intelligence, potentially. To say it's an alien from another galaxy may be the wrong thing. I've always been a stern believer that these are interdimensional craft, and I've kind of believed that for the longest time. So it's, who knows, time will tell. He also has said, Jeffrey says, also said, Cade, let me tell you, the government will never disclose, ever. I'm gonna respectfully disagree. I think we have already got a sense of disclosure on this. Yeah, I just, what we get, I don't know. but we've already got a little bit. We've got the U.S. government, the Pentagon has come out and said UFOs are real. To most people, that's good enough. You know, it's really disclosure is one of these things that it's so open to interpretation too, because unless someone sees a bloody UFO landing on the White House lawn with an alien stepping out of it, they won't believe it, and then they may even say that's fake. Maggie M10 says 25 years. Why do they drag this stuff on and on? I can't imagine following this from the 50s or 60s. I'd imagine it's so infuriating for those people at this point. Yeah, exactly. But you know what? That's for them. That's probably the silver lining of everything as well. Is that when they've done it for as long as they've done it, 25 years would be a drop in the bucket, and that's the light at the end of the tunnel. So it's yeah, I don't know. And laws can change in between now and then too. So I'm always a little bit, I just want it now. Chaser Odyssey, Kate, I don't think the US government will show us shit. You may be right. But you may be wrong too. I mean, none of us know anything, and nothing is a definitive at this stage. I'm just really excited that these types of talks are happening, and that this kind of thing is getting pushed through. We have a call coming through, so I'm going to just quickly get them on the air. Just give me 1 second. Caller, what's your name and where you from?
Hey, Kate, I'm Fraser from Weber.
Hey, mate, how you doing?
Doing good.
Mate, you got a story to share, or you got some viewpoint on the UAP disclosure that you want to share?
Oh, a bit of both.
Okay, awesome.
1983, I think, about then. Me and my mate were playing at school. We were only 15, maybe. And this triangle aircraft went over us, right, really low, so low that we dove on the ground. But back then, UFOs were like round, like the Jordan-Dembski type things, you know, just round.
Yeah, flying saucers, right?
Yeah, this was definitely a triangle, though. We sort of went, what the hell was that, you know? And never really thought about it until sort of 10 years later. Then this triangle thing started to show up in the, what do you call it? The main, the media sort of.
Yeah, like in the mainstream and things like that.
Yeah, and we saw one of them like 1983 or so.
Yeah, that's and you know what? Some people may think that could have been the TR-3B bomber, which is kind of like this rather aggressive looking plane that was built. I believe it might have been around the 80s, maybe the 90s. But I tell you what, that wouldn't be flying in this area.
This was in New Zealand at the time.
Yeah. Well, even less so, because that's a massive flight to kind of get from right wing airbase to essentially one of the most southern points in the world.
Yeah, is me sound all right because I'm on my headphones?
Yeah, mate, you sound great. You sound really clear.
No, that's right. And then on a different subject, about 10 years ago, I'm driving my truck from Brisbane to Gladstone, and just south of Gladstone, about Calliope sort of area, the biggest cat.
Oh,
like
really?
A black panther. Yeah.
Oh, mate, they're out there. Hey?
And they definitely are.
I just feel like it is just so undeniable that panthers, big black cats are out there. It is just a smorgasbord for a creature like that to roam free in Australia.
Yeah. And then my UAP and disclosure. Art Bell from 1993 onwards,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's going, oh, disclosure's coming.
Yeah.
So that's like 20, I'm not very good at math, maybe nearly 30 years, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
And it still hasn't happened. But I'm like, do we need it? There's that much evidence that people have seen it, but there's no proof.
Yeah.
So why do we need confirmation from the government that it's real when it clearly is real? Why do we need that part of confirmation?
Yeah, and look, I agree with you. I think most people who have, seen a UFO or have kind of had this interest for long enough, they know this is real. They don't need the government to come out and say, look, yep, UFOs are real, aliens are real. This is what they look like. Here's where they are. I don't think that part's overly important, but what I do think is important is like the potential advancements to the human race that could potentially come from the technology within these types of craft.
Yeah, I get on a plane because from here to Cairns is a jet propeller sort of a plane, like a Dash 8.
Oh yeah, I know it.
Every time I get on, I go, this seems so backwards, like it's just, we all know there's better advancements than that, and we're going on a propeller.
Exactly, and a lot of those planes haven't changed in 30 years.
That's right. And NASA even just only 2 weeks ago said we don't have the technology to go to the moon. Well, we went there in 1969 with less technology than an iPhone's got. What the?
Yeah, exactly. It it doesn't make sense, really, does it?
Doesn't make sense at all. No, well, that's my bit, I suppose.
No, mate, it was great chatting to you. Thanks for calling in and sharing your views. And mate, I do have to ask you, what did you and your mate think at the time when you saw that black triangle? Like, did you think that was something different? Was it just something that didn't fit the mindset of a young fella back then?
We had no idea because I've always been, I've always followed. Well, back then it was Arthur C. Clarke and Leonard Nimoy on that. What's that show? Yes, can't remember. I've been into that since I read Von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods.
Yep.
That's back in 1975. I've always had an interest in it, but back then, everything was like a round saucer disc, like since whatever his name was. He saw the first round circle, called it a flying saucer, whoever that was, in 1943 or whatever it was. I've had an interest, but this was completely a different shape, so we had no, what on earth is that? But sort of just blocked it off there.
Yeah, and you know what? There was a huge influx in black triangle sightings between like the 90s and the early 2000s. So who knows? You could have seen and this might sound dumb, but I kind of put it into the most simple terms, is you might have seen an upgraded model from what the original sources were, because even today in the the 2010s, the 2020s, we're seeing these kind of tic-tac kind of craft now, which are completely different from everything before.
There's another thing I was going to talk about, actually. That tic-tac that David Fravor saw over the ocean, it went from 80,000 feet to just above the water, and he said the water shimmered. And I read the other day that if there's zero gravity, water boils at a different temperature than at sea level.
Really?
So then I thought, well, maybe this has got zero gravity, so the gravity's zero, so the actual ocean was boiling, because he said the ocean was bubbling. So that zero gravity above that, under that tic-tac, could have been boiling the ocean.
That's a really good bit of insight, because I do remember David Fravor saying, yeah, the water, it looked like it was like foamy and things like that.
Yeah. So that, to me, that because it's zero gravity, the water's boiling at a lower temperature than, like, what is it? Water boils at 0 Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius. So because it's got zero gravity, because it's gravity controlled, that water's boiling underneath it directly.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Anyway, I don't know.
No, mate, I think that's incredible insight, to be honest.
I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking about
that. They always come at you at the weirdest times.
Oh, no, there's more things than that too. Like, I can talk about gravity or anything you want.
Mate,
you want to talk about gravity for a second?
Mate, go for it. I'll give you my best. I'm not a advert physics person, but let's give it a shot.
Well, they say gravity. Some say gravity is a pull. Some say it's a push. And I think it's a push. Like you're pushed toward the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why I think the universe is a stagnant thing. It's always been there, always has. And the light from other galaxies is going through particles to get to us. Like at sunset, it's red because it's going through particles to get to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening in the universe. And so they reckon it's expanding, so it's red. I think it's stagnant, but it's going through particles through the universe, because everyone knows there's particles in the universe, even though it's a void, there's still particles there. So I think the light's coming through, and we're seeing the red shift because of that. All right. And we've got, what have we got? Andromeda coming towards us, because it's coming towards us. That's why it's blue. And I think that's what that is. And then all those light particles are actually gravity. And they're all pushing toward us. And you can see that. You can see it when NASA have the video on the space station.
Mm.
Everything is in a circle, because all the gravity is pushing that bubble of water into a circle. And there was there's an American astronaut that something wrong with his spaceship, with his suit, I mean, and all the water stuck to him. So that proves that, it's not expanding, it's contracting into him, because it all stuck to his face and nearly drowned in the water from his spaceship.
Oh, wow.
So, to me, I think the light is gravity. Does that make sense?
You could be onto something. I know light definitely can be directed by gravity too.
Well, it's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go.
I think it is. Because it's not Doppler, it's what they call it, the Cavendish experiment is that other one. It's Cavendish experiment is when you vacuum, two plates will go together. The Compton effect. Google that one. The Compton effect. That's what gravity is, the Compton effect.
The Compton effect.
I think, anyway.
I'll write it down.
The Compton effect,
I'm writing that one down. I'm going to give it a Google.
Yeah. Google that, and then Google the Cavendish effect, which is two heavy plates in a vacuum stuck close together. They'll suck toward each other.
Yeah, right.
Because of the Compton effect. It's the gravity outside that push them together. Right. And then there's that probably another thing, that experiment is in Antarctica where they dug down deep and put actually they did in the pyramid as well. They put an ion reader, which measured the photons. I think that's how they worked out there was another chamber in the pyramids. That same experiment.
Right.
Does the same thing. And that's all part of gravity, part of light. Buzz Aldrin said they used to wake up in the middle of the day at night when they're sleeping on the moon with lights flashing. That's that ion No, I'm going off track.
All good, mate. All good. But I tell you what, mate,
Yeah.
you've been absolute pleasure to chat to tonight. You've been a legend.
I've been a follower for a while, okay?
Oh, mate. Well, thank you for calling in. It's been you've got my mind thinking, and I've got a couple of things to Google after we're done here tonight.
Well, yeah, Google them. Compton and I've forgotten the name. Oh, sorry, I swore. You're right. You saw. Have a good night.
Thank you, mate. You too. Cheers.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Catch ya. Getting a bit too deep for me there. He sounded like he knew way more than I had a grasp of. So I was drowning a little bit there. Hey guys, I might close the lines there for the moment because we have a couple of things here in the chat which I do kind of want to get to. Also before the show's done, because we've only got a couple of minutes really left. So Darren Miller has asked, hey Kate, are you going to the Cardwell UFO Festival next month? Are you a guest speaker? Yes, I am going to the Cardwell UFO Festival next month. Am I going to be a guest speaker? No, I'm going to be doing a live podcast there. And it is going to be a blast. And I'm bringing someone with me. I can't say who yet, but it's gonna blow the roof off. Let's just say if you've been a fan of this podcast for a long time, you're definitely gonna want to come. If you're in the region, you're gonna want to come to the Cardwell UFO Festival because it's going to be great. It's going to be really good. I can't really say anything else right now. I'm probably going to get some stuff locked in over the next day or two. But yeah, it's going to, you're gonna have a great time with this guest. I know a lot of people want to meet this person. They have quite a following, so yeah, it'll be good fun. Does their name start with J? No. No. No, it doesn't. But man, I tell you what, that caller has got me thinking. It's going to be a bit of a late night for me Googling. I think I'm going to go down a couple of rabbit holes. Status Tomb has asked, any upcoming catch-ups with AYR? Yeah, I just caught up with the guys, some guys from AYR just recently. Yeah, they're doing good. Got some projects going on, which is rather cool. But yeah, I'm always catching up with AYR. I chat with everyone all the time. All right. Everyone wants a sniff. Is he ridiculously hot? Well, it may not be a he. But they think they are. Okay, here we go. Glenn Wright, a Yowie? Maybe. Will there be pants? Hopefully not. Depends on the accommodation. Michelle Fell says the caller was great. Thanks for calling. Yeah, that was a cracking call. Really, really enjoyed that one. Jeffrey says, I love being the crazy one here. Don't blame you, mate. Someone's got to be it. Yes, caller was over my head smart. Yeah, me too, Shane. Me too. Yeah. I don't know if you could hear me. I was drowning in trying to keep up with him. So it's that was good. I like chatting to people way smarter than me. It's not hard. But he definitely seemed to have way more knowledge than the average man. It sounds like he's probably gone down a couple of rabbit holes himself, and good on him, because it makes for good conversation. But yeah, look, guys, I am going to the Cardwell UFO Festival, and it's going to be a really great time. Chaser Odyssey says, "What's your favorite sci-fi show?" X-Files. Gotta love the X-Files. Man, I'm a massive X-Files nut. It's so good. Does he look like Carl Drogo? I don't know who that is. I'll have to Google that. Yeah, no idea. Duke, love this show. Cade, you're the best. Great voice, great energy, and just amazing, bro. No, Duke, man, you're Duke Nugum. Yeah, you're amazing. You're the best. Thanks for coming around. Guys, I do want to let you know, though, that if you're a Believe Plus member and you jump on, sign in, you're going to see our very first ever video version of the podcast, like a video version of a whole episode with someone. Did that in the new studio. Looks incredible. Sounds incredible. I actually spoke to George Simpson, who was the author of Nothing on Radar, the Valentich mystery. And because of the episode that he did with us, I think it may have been last season, we actually have been able to uncover more information about the Valentich UFO mystery, which is basically one of Australia's most prolific UFO encounters of all time. And there is some absolutely mind-melting information and evidence presented in that episode. So I want to put a massive thank you out to all the listeners, because it means that this show is genuinely making a difference to UFO history. And we are getting closer and closer to finding out more information about what potentially happened to Frederick Valentich that fateful, potentially, day. But yeah, go check it out, because that's going to drop for everyone, of course, next week on the Wednesday, as always. So listen to the audio version, but then go back and have a look at the video, because put a lot of effort into it. So hopefully it gets a couple of views. But they'll give you a bit of an idea of if you do want to start a podcast in Cairns, your podcast could look that pretty as well. But yeah, guys, look, that's oh, hang on, we got something here. Oh shit, that bit about the pharmacy and the UFO carrying the plane is amazing. Well, if you think that's amazing, you're gonna love this episode. Because there's some stuff in there that I can't get my head around, and it has produced some incredible results. All because of a listener gave us a bit of a name out there. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. But yeah, if you're a Believe Plus member, log on to the website there, and you'll be able to watch that now. I am trying to get the audio going. The audio's finished. It's uploaded. I just can't. My podcast host is not allowing me to get the direct access link at the moment, and I do not know why. So if you are a Believe Plus member, the audio will hopefully come later tonight. However, you can jump on there and watch the video. Maggie says, "How does a UFO carry a plane?" It doesn't. It gets stuck to the side of it. It legitimately got stuck to the side of it. It is mind-boggling. Robin says that story was epic. It is, I think, one of the most incredible UFO stories in the entire world. There was so many people that had an interaction with this thing at some kind of point. It just boggles my mind. Shane says UFO wasn't carrying a plane. Plane was gravity locked to the side of a UFO. Yeah, something like that. It was, yeah, just stuck to the side of it. Super crazy. Super, super crazy. Well, look, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there tonight. This has been a really, really fun episode. Apologies if you had to sit through me reading like a toddler, but hopefully I did okay. But look, guys, I really can't wait for you guys to see this video episode. I really want to do more video episodes. If you want more video episodes, let me know. I mean, it's entirely up to the guests if they want to be on video. You know, I would never pressure anyone to do that if they didn't want to do that. But anyway, look, guys, let's wrap it up. Thank you for joining me tonight. If you like what you hear, potentially consider becoming a Believe Plus member. It's $5 a month. You'll get early access to episodes. I've got a couple of things in the background I'm working on really, really good to get you guys over there. What else is there? Well, one of the best things you can do is go rate the podcast. Go give it like a 5-star rating on iTunes or Spotify or whatever you listen to. If you like the episodes on Spotify, you can now comment on them and kind of leave your opinion and say, you know, man, this guest was great or you know, whatever. But that's a really cool feature they've added on there. So if you do like the episodes, jump over there and leave a comment on there. Share it with a friend, because that's the best thing you can do, is just to have the podcast grow, is to share it with a friend, and maybe share the episodes that aren't not too scary ones. That's what I'm trying to say. Share the ones that are like an easy in for some people. Next week's episode could be a really, really good one. It's got a little bit of weirdness. I still can't get around it, but it's, oh yeah, I'm really excited for that one. Not that I ever have favorite episodes, but this one's a cracker. But look, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. This is going to be up for another 24 hours. So if you have joined us late, never fear, you can always go back and re-listen to this anytime over the next 24 hours. And then it will be gone behind the paid wall for Believe Plus members only. So, yeah, that's it. Guys, my mind has been blown. We're getting disclosure. We have got a Disclosure Act getting put through the Senate at the moment. Where there is going to be a meeting about it on the 27th of this month. So get ready. We're gonna get something, I think. What it will be, I don't know. But it's gonna come around soon. Before I shoot off, Robin's asking, when's the next live show? So I'm thinking I'm going to be moving the live shows to the Saturdays. It's just a little bit logistically better. One, I'm just pretty much rooted after a full week of work on Friday. And to kind of back that up after a whole week, to do a live show can be a little bit tricky. And Saturdays seem to work out quite well, especially at this time of the year, because there's so much footy on at the moment. There's just a lot of football on, so people love watching their footy on Friday, and I don't blame them, you know. So this just gives people more of a chance to tune in at a time that works for them. So yeah, it's it is what it is. So yeah, I really do like going on the Saturdays. It's just a little bit more relaxed. And look, so many people are in here saying, yeah, you can't miss out on the footy. So, and exactly, I get it. You know, Australia is full of footy nuts. So that's why I think Saturdays will be the new time for the live show. So essentially, our next live show will be on Saturday, the 5th of August. Yeah, 5th of August, I think. So yeah, we'll see. But if you were on the fence about going to the Cardwell UFO Festival, now is the time to lock that in, because I'm going to be there, and so is a really big name who's been on the podcast. So that's going to be that for now. We'll probably make an announcement over the next couple of days. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you on the next live show, and hopefully I see some of you guys down at Cardwell, because it'll be really cool to hang out with a couple of you guys, have a couple of beers, and have some laughs. But until next time, I've been Cade Moyer. You've been listening to the Believe Live show, The Night Shift, and go check out next week's episode, because it's full of juicy video. Cheers, guys. I'll catch you later.